we go. Welcome everybody to another Conversations as part of our Australian series. Today we're going to be having a chat with a lady who we've known the better part of, probably about 10, 12 years. And she is going to share not only her own story, but also things that really prompted her attention in terms of a client who I had taken care of many, many years ago, who had one of those most remarkable kinds of transformations after, going ahead and getting her upper neck corrected. So, hope you enjoy this video as always. We'll see you on the other side. So today we're going to have a nice little conversation with Mrs. Elizabeth Morgan, who we've known for, the better part of, what would you guess, about 12 years? Something like that?
When you were in Sandgate, so how long is that?
I think that would be about 12 years, absolutely. Okay, so why don't you say just a little bit, first and foremost, who you are, but also what your life passions are. Just a little bit about you in general.
Well, I've spent 60 years being a professional musician, and I came to Australia when I was 20. So you add that up now, and it makes for a bit of an age. I found myself in Queensland where it was so wild and amazingly wonderful, but far from the lights of London, which was very attractive to me and very exotic, of course, as a young, growing up potential musician there. And I came here and followed my teacher out, as a number of us did, which was a very unusual thing to do, in order to continue lessons with him because he was transferring to teach here at the new conservatorium. Well, this was an incredibly wild and extremely raw place, and I found, in a nutshell, myself doing what do they call trailblazing. I took it on myself to introduce, try and raise the standard of string playing and teaching first in Queensland and eventually in Australia. And to that end, I did a lot of projects which have resulted in many, many changes over the 60 years. And I played a lot, and I found I had lots of apprehensions about playing. So I focused on teaching, and to that end, there are hundreds and hundreds of students out there with whom I've had association. And I don't see teaching in the usual ways. Taught, I see that you teach to learn and you learn to teach. So that's it in a really tight little nutshell.
Okay, so music, but also, correct me if I'm teaching and inspiring, bringing out the best in other people over a long period.
That's what I see education is.
Mm-hmm.
The real meaning of education is to bring out from latent existence. And that was my philosophy, really, not to impose knowledge, but to set situations where they'd be encouraged to learn and thrive, and be inspired, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us then, if you would, tell us the story about what prompted us to, meet going all those years ago.
Well, I had one student who used to fly down from North Queensland, who was probably I always found that students, as I needed to learn more things, a new student would turn up with some problems that I was unable to assist, and I had to learn from. It was very interesting. It was teach to learn and learn to teach process. And I had this particular student come, she was 11 or 12, who was a little bundle of tightness that I had never come across in all the previous years. And it transpired, I was unable to help her with anything. And it transpired that she was on painkillers and in constant 24-hour pain with some problem that no one was able to help her with. The diagnosis was, she maybe should be operated on, or maybe she should be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life, anyway, lots of possibilities. And her mother found all of these explanations unacceptable. Nobody was able to explain her condition. And her grandmother lived in Sandgate and said, why don't you go to these? I've heard these wonderful people just round the corner here. Why don't you have an appointment to go and see them? So this young lady, this girl on her painkillers, with a mother who was by this stage desperate because she'd researched all sorts of things online. I think they'd taken the girl down to Sydney, all up the coast of Queensland, to all sorts of professional specialists. Nobody was able to be helpful. So the mother thought, oh, why not? So she went round the corner to you, and within 2 sessions, she was walking out. I think she was off the painkillers. And whilst she has some problems which she sustained, I believe, her life regained some sort of normality. And it was what a lot of people would call a miracle. It was miraculous, the change. And she is now, I had an email from her this morning. She's in Geneva completing an advanced music training course that helps students, helps people bring out the music in themselves. And she's extremely gifted at it. So, I mean, it's a miracle story, actually. And that's why I wanted to share that and hope that I've explained it well enough so that other people can get the idea.
Yeah, she was, in all honesty, to this day, she's one of the most remarkable cases I've ever had the good fortune to get to know, to meet very much as well. And a couple of things just for the audience, of course, not giving any personal details or anything like that away. Two things is, number one, she didn't actually come to see me, just so that the audience knows. I was working as associate in this particular practice in Sandgate at the time. She had originally come to see the head doc there. He, unfortunately, at that time, he was having some very sudden and unexpected health issues of his own. And so I kind of found myself very much in the deep end to try to help her to the best that I possibly could. And I would like to say that it was 2 sessions. Honestly, Elizabeth, it was a solid 1 to 2 months of work before she had her breakthrough. But when she had her breakthrough, it was like everything changed, in that 2 days. But it actually took quite a bit to get her there in the first place. Yeah. Oh yeah. She had a lot of things. So that's wonderful to hear that she is still doing, hopefully, awesome, amazing, crazy, way too much in the deep end kind of things. So if she's watching this one, we wish you very, very well. And to mom and family as well.
And the synchronicity, as you understand synchronicity as I do so well, I had an email from her this morning.
Yep. Yeah. So definitely, we take that as something special there.
Yeah, very special.
Okay, yeah. So then, Elizabeth, we would have met, correct me if I'm wrong, because you have always been very much involved in your own health. And you wanted to see a little bit what this was all about. You didn't have any, without giving anything away. It's like, I don't remember that there was anything particularly wrong or amiss. You just wanted to be at that higher level, having seen and experienced, your own, or excuse me, with her transformation. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that really nails it, I think. And then, but of course, there was my husband Bob, who had the problem with his hip. And I'll add another little story. I've seen him walk into you for a treatment because he damaged his foot when he was a very little boy and has had hip problems all his life. And he's now nearly 95. I've seen him walk into you, and 5 minutes later, hobble into you, and 5 minutes later, walk out perfectly normal again. So I don't know if you like that story.
No, very, very much. You both have been an inspiration for a lot of different reasons. So, I mean, you've thrown your husband under the bus there just a little bit. Well, I'm going to throw you under the bus, and I'm going to do something on camera that you should never ask a lady. Elizabeth, what's your age?
I'll be 82 in April.
Okay, so you will be 82. So you're still 81. What do you get about doing in your day to day? What is a routine day for you look like these days?
I'm a bit lazier than I used to be, but I was always a bit manic. So being lazier is probably a very good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Define lazy in your particular case.
if I feel like a snooze, I have a snooze on the sofa. But basically, I go out and lead a normal life. I don't have any physical problems really. I'm busy. I make sure that I have a lot of doing my chores in the morning because things wind down a bit in the afternoon. But I take the dog for a good walk in the late in the afternoon, and we meditate and watch a bit of TV, go back to bed again. Is this routine?
Yeah. So I mean, you worked very, very hard, and I know with no details, but there was a period a few years back where you were having a huge amount of stress, and I remember you saying it's like I've never had this kind of stress or agitation in my life. But what's testament in particular, just your own story here. You at 81 and your husband at 95. You are still getting out about and doing all the stuff that you guys like to do. Yeah, maybe not as fast as you used to, but you're still full of life and energy. A lot of times people think, oh, yeah, slow down, be sensible as we do age. But it's not like we are supposed to be bent over, crippled, or all that sort of stuff. It's like, no, 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 no. There is supposed to be a lot of life in a lot of years. And so you both are living testaments to that. And so that, for me, personally, that's an inspiration so that, when I am at, either my early 80s or better yet, 95, if I can still be doing all that same kinds of things, it's like, okay, that would be absolutely amazing. So you guys are an inspiration to, for all of us to work towards. And something important that even if a person is thinking, let's say they're in their 60s or their 70s and they start to experience some health issues, no, 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 no. This does not need to keep going downhill.
Yeah. Can I just add another thing?
Yeah.
In your questions, what you gained from this association are a number of things, of course, very useful things like trauma release exercises and connection with trauma I had when I was 3, and I hadn't really realized that it affected my total life. But when I forgot what I was going to say. I told you that I'm a bit fuzzy this morning. Yes, if I'd had an accident, I might have fallen over or had a bit of a car accident or something like that. That the importance of seeing you as soon as possible afterwards, so that potential problems that might not appear immediately but could appear up the track, can be mitigated. And I found that very valuable. And of course, I did always trundle up to you then because I'm a bit funny on my feet and I fall over sometimes, but basically I bounce something. Yeah, that's a really real key thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that you've always been proactive, with even the small things, and you've got that very, very, very good sense of what goes on in your own body. I think that that's going to be something that continues to serve you, hopefully for another couple of decades.
I don't want to be around.
Okay, well then we don't mean to that for however long you plan on being here in your physical form as she is right now. Is that fair? Okay, that's fair. Okay, so Elizabeth, just as we're going to wrap up the conversation here, we'll have two last little things. Number one, what would you recommend? As far as a message of health or healing for people who are out there who might be experiencing something, and just looking for answers. What would be something that you would give in terms of inspiration for a person towards being and living, becoming a healthier person?
Be open to the enormous range of possibilities that are out there. Don't have a closed mind that the doctor's the only person who knows. He may not. That you as an individual may know your own body. And this is what Carl says. He says he's the person who knows his body the best. Mm-hmm. He knows his own health the best. And don't be imposed on by a doctor if it doesn't feel right. There are countless alternatives out there, including chiropractic, your type of chiropractic, which can be so helpful. And I've spread the word, tried to spread the word so many times over the years, and people close their minds down because we're all conditioned. We're all conditioned by millions of things, aren't we? Just being alive. And that's some conditioning from who knows where, which said, oh, no, I better not try that. One or two people have been to see you as an example.
They have, and so
nowhere near the proportion of people we've told.
And you know what, Elizabeth, I say this, very often too. Of course, we the people like myself, we of course only ever know about the few people who actually do choose to heed that advice and to take that action. And so for those people, we can say thank you. But more than that, we'll say thank you for every single person that you have ever spoken to, that you've ever shared this, even if they didn't take the action. That's not on me, that's not on you. And we never know, about that. So nevertheless, thank you very much for, everything, including this conversation here right now. Because even though it's always up to them, it's an expression that I like. It's better to light one candle than curse the darkness.
Yeah.
And so thank you for lighting those candles.
Well, thank you, Jeff, but also sowing a seed, isn't it? You don't know when that seed is going to germinate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Well, thank you
very
much.
Well, thank you. Yep. So one last little thing here, and this one, in all honesty, then this goes beyond chiropractic, and this probably even goes beyond health. What would be one last, sage piece of advice or something of an inspiration that you believe would be something you could share the world, that if we all followed it, would make it all a better, kinder, gentler place?
Wow. You've got a week?
I'll give you the Twitter version, the 30-second one.
To the old Cicero playing Know Thyself. I think it's essential that people be honest and take responsibility for themselves and the world, not blame the government, not blame their husbands, just look at their own lives, and in that process open a journey of self-discovery, and perhaps even getting as far as asking themselves, well, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Becoming more rational and continually evolving to the end of their days of this particular round. I should have thought about that a whole lot more, because there's so much I'd love to say, but is that enough for you?
That's more. There's no right or wrong amount. It's perfect as it is. So, okay. Elizabeth, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for sharing your story and making the world a better place for you having shared in it. And thank you for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please do like and share it with family, friends who you think would benefit from hearing this. And if there's something that we've shared here too that resonates with you, what we'd have you do is go visit BlairChiropractic.com so that you can find a Blair upper cervical chiropractor in your area of the world. Everybody take care. It was great to see you. This is Dr. Jeffrey Hanna from Upper Cervical Spokane and Clear Chiropractic. Be well, live well, stay well.